From the Detroit Free Press, in the heart of the Motor City, it's Friday, July 10th. Here are today's top stories.
Brought to you by JB's Smokehouse, located inside Bush's Fresh Food Market of Canton. JB's offers a range of authentic barbecue favorites, from beef brisket and mac and cheese to fried green tomatoes and pulled pork tacos. JB's is sure to become your new favorite barbecue spot.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kerry Jr. II. Michigan is at risk for another outbreak. That's according to COVID Act Now, a national nonprofit comprised of technologists, epidemiologists, health experts, and policymakers. The group provides data analysis on the coronavirus pandemic. On June 15th, the website stated that Michigan was on track to contain the virus. Free Press reporter Chanel Stitt has the update. Hi, Chanel. Thanks for joining me.
Hello.
So a few weeks back, COVID Act Now reported that we were on track to contain the virus, but we have a very different story now. What is the organization reporting?
They have it broken down. So when you look at the COVID Act Now app, many counties up north are not issued any warnings, but as you travel to the southern part of the state, many counties are marked as medium risk, high risk, and critical risk.
And do we know what counties specifically are listed as which ones?
Yes. So in the southeast Michigan region specifically, the risk varies. Oakland and Monroe counties are at medium risk, and Macomb and Washtenaw and Wayne counties, they're at high risk. And then Livingston and Lenawee counties are at critical risk. So everything is broken down. You can see from the west side of the state to the east side, and then up north, it doesn't really have much data.
And how do they determine what makes a certain county low risk, medium risk? How was that laid out?
So the group calculates the state's risk by looking at 4 different things. They look at infection rate, they look at positive test rate, the amount of ICU beds used, and the contacts traced. So right now, the infection rate is 1.15, which means that the group's rate is at high risk. So that means that people are infecting each other at a rate of 1.15, which is pretty fast.
How often do they release reports on the severity of the spread, and when could we know what the update might be?
So the website measures the averages by 14 days. So then they present the most recent 7 days of data, and that's how the data is reported.
Thank you so much, Chanel, for talking with me.
Of course, anytime.
The organization's website lists Alpena, Berrien, Clinton, Hillsdale, Iona, Iosco, Lapeer, Lenawee, Livingston, Newaygo, Shiawassee, St. Clair, and St. Joseph counties as counties at critical risk for an outbreak. 446 cases of the coronavirus and 9 new deaths were reported by the state Thursday. In total, there are over 67,000 cases and just over 6,000 deaths statewide. Governor Whitmer held a press conference on Thursday to address the increase in cases across the state. Whitmer said the law already mandates that masks be worn indoors, but government officials haven't been enforcing the law.
And we are reviewing that requirement and considering whether or not we need to take this a step further to strengthen compliance.
Whitmer says state and local officials could bring misdemeanor charges and fines, but she says she would prefer not to. The governor says local officials may start enforcing mask requirements. That's the latest. For more information on COVID-19 in Michigan, visit www.freep.com.
This is J.C. Reindl for the Detroit Free Press. A gym in Metro Detroit was shut down by police this week, and a dozen patrons inside were ticketed. The gym was one of an unknown number that have tried staying open in defiance of Governor Gretchen Whitmer's COVID-19 closure order. Police have ticketed owners or managers of other rebellious gyms, but this was the first time that they went after actual gym goers, who must now appear in court. The owner of RTB Gym says his members were observing social distancing guidelines, and every other piece of cardio equipment was roped off. He says he was open because he can't afford to stay closed. A federal appeals court has yet to rule on a lawsuit that challenges the governor's gym closure order.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, and huge news out of the Big Ten. The conference just announced on Thursday that its schools will only play conference games for each of its fall sports, including football. And so The 14 teams in the conference have now had each of their 3 non-conference games canceled. At this point, there is no word exactly how the schedule will change or when the college football season will begin in the Big Ten. For Michigan, this means no trip to Seattle to play Washington and no home games against Ball State and Arkansas State. For MSU, their games at BYU and at home against Miami, Florida, and Ball State are off. This decision has pending effects on smaller schools like Central Michigan, who were scheduled to play 2 Big Ten schools and reap in more than $2 million in the process.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.